My Android is currently displaying to my computer. Now, my Android tablet that's used on my quilting machines has some very unique and wonderful features and abilities. Now, if I tap the power button, it'll wake up the screen. Then I can unlock it. If I hold the power button down for a few seconds, I'll be prompted with the option to power off the tablet or reboot it. Now, you should remember that some tablets, when they're powered off, if they are connected to a power source, such as your quilting machine, they'll automatically turn back on. That's why it's important to turn off your machine first, or your robot first, and then turn off your tablet. Because if those guys are still turned on, they're going to turn on your tablet. So when you're done for the day, turn off your tablet last. So once again, if I just tap the power button, it simply goes to sleep. If I tap it again, it wakes up, and I can unlock them. If you don't touch your tablet screen for some time, it'll turn off by itself. Let's see how to adjust that. Now, if you're in your Perfect Stitch application, which a lot of times you will be automatically when you turn on your screen, to leave the application along the bottom, you'll have either a house or a little circle. Now, if your keyboard is hidden, I'm going to hide mine by pushing this. To bring it back, you simply swipe upwards from the bottom, and back here are those icons again. I'm going to click my little house. You may have a little circle. Now, this is the tablet's desktop main screen. Bear in mind that Perfect Stitch is merely an application. Let's go here. Here are all the applications on my tablet. Perfect Stitch is just one of many. Now, if I go here to the settings, I could turn on and off Wi-Fi. My display settings here, I'm going to change to how long it takes before it goes to sleep by itself. Now, just remember, going to sleep is no big deal. You just tap the power button to wake him back up. But you can adjust to how you like it. So if you go to grab a glass of water and come back, if you want your screen to still be on, you can adjust it. I like mine at 5 minutes, so I'll keep it there. If your tablet experiences difficulties of turning on the Wi-Fi, where it gets stuck turning it on, then it's going to need a reset, which can be found here. Backup and reset. You'll hit Factory Data Reset. You will have to install Perfect Stitch again after, but that's okay. Also on this screen, you can safely unmount USB flash drives. I'm going to go to Storage. After you're done using a USB flash drive plugged into your tablet, you'll scroll down here, not under SD card, but rather under USB storage. If I had a USB flash drive inserted, I would have an option to unmount it. You'll want to do an unmount, just like you mount and unmount a horse. Unmount the USB flash drive before you plug it out to prevent any data corruption. Okay, let's click this little house button again to go back to the tablet's desktop. Now I have an app shortcut on here, Perfect Stitch. I can hold my finger on it and pull it around and drop it to where I like it. I could create shortcuts of other apps by holding my finger on them until they hover and then dropping them onto the desktop. I can also remove shortcuts in like manner, picking them up and dragging them up to the X. Now notice that does not delete the app. To uninstall the app, you must do it from this screen. I can hold my finger on Perfect Stitch, and I have the option to uninstall it. Do you want to uninstall? I don't want to right now. I'll keep it on here. I kind of like Perfect Stitch. Okay, let's show you how the file management system works on Perfect Stitch. I'm going to plug in a USB flash drive to my tablet. Up here in the corner, Android recognized that a USB was connected. A flash drive. Let's go open Perfect Stitch. I'm going to go put in some patterns. Now I'm going to do a restore backup because I have a restore file I want to use. And I know it's on my USB storage, so I'll click on that and on the bottom right hand side push open. Then there's the database file that I was going to use. Let's push open to that. Sure, let's let it restore the patterns. Database restored. Go to my patterns. I have some nice beautiful patterns. I can scroll through the list with my finger. Scroll through the list with my finger on the screen. Pretty simple. Now, some of the tablet models have struggled to recognize files on your USB flash drive and they don't show up. If that happens, let's push the home button to leave Perfect Stitch. Notice if I go back into Perfect Stitch, it remembers where I was. Just bear that in mind. Now let's go here to learn how to use the File Explorer. I'm going to make a shortcut for it on my desktop as I use it often. All I did was hold my finger on it to hover it and then bring it down. Now a lot of times if you get any errors, if your Perfect Stitch says communication error or it was struggling to read a pattern file, you simply got to leave it like I just did. Then I push this icon with the little double windows and I can swipe off the screen with my finger these apps, or I can push the X. Now if I open Perfect Stitch, it opens from scratch and does a fresh restart, which oftentimes fixes communication errors. In my case, I'm still getting communication errors because I have my tablet hooked up to my computer instead of a quilting machine. Using the File Explorer, I can easily manage files on my tablet. I could go internal, an SD card, or USB storage. USB storage is where I have some files on here. I have an APK file. Android by itself recognizes APK files, and I could do an install of Perfect Stitch, but I've already installed it. So I'm not going to do that right now. Now, if it was struggling to read a pattern database file, which some of the tablet models sometimes struggle, and we're working on that to figure out why that is. For the meantime, you'll come in here and hold your finger on this. I'm going to make a comment, copy it. Then I'm going to level up. And I'm going to put it internal on my flash drive. Let's go to download. I like to put it in download so it's easy to remember where I put it. Then I'll hit the editor and push paste. But I already did it earlier. That's why it's sitting here. You can also select multiple files by hitting multi and then select. And then use the editor to tell it what you want to do. I'm going to move it. How about that? Then I could make a folder. Then I could go into that folder and put it in there if I so wanted. Okay, now that I've put this pattern database here internally, let's go back to Perfect Stitch. It'll need a quilt area again because I reset my application. I started it closed all the way. Go to my patterns. Now if I say restore backup, it will no longer, it is still on my USB storage, but I also put it internally on the tablet. Let's put internal SD. That SD card is a virtual card. SD card, not physical. It's virtual. Let's open it up. I'm sorry. Your internal stuff is on that SD card. Now go to download where I put it using the file manager. And there's my pattern database. And Perfect Stitch recognizes that file. So it's telling me it'll restore everything, which I already did earlier. So I'm not going to do that now. So that's the basics of using your Android system. Turning it off, turning it on, using your File Explorer, managing shortcuts. If Perfect Stitch has issues, try closing it down like so. You might have an X, you might be able to swipe it away. This cool window lets you jump between apps that are still running, or close them down. Your tablet might have a circle and then a square, instead of a house and then a double window. Thanks for watching. I hope this has been helpful to you in using your new Android unit.